Professor Nanayakara, I think there was an excellent exposition of the four A's: attitudinal change, analysis for the environment, social and economic, an action-oriented manager, and finally, accountability. That's the key word. Thank you so very much, sir. I'm sure that has generated a lot of thoughts amongst our delegates. It is my duty to call upon Professor Dr. Alimullah Mia, an eminent scholar from Bangladesh, who is currently the Vice Chancellor of the International University of Business, Agriculture and Technology, and he is the founder of the South Asian Disaster Management Center, which the Commonwealth Secretariat in London funded, and we work very closely, sir, with you. Professor Mia, as you probably know, is one of the foremost thinkers that Bangladesh has produced. He is, in fact, the pioneer for the private university setup in South Asia. Dr. Mia has widely consulted for many international agencies, including the EU, UNDP, World Bank, CARE, the Aga Khan Foundation, UNICEF, World Vision, Danida, ILO, and I shall leave the rest for you to look in his book concerning his biographic details. Suffices to say that Dr. Mia graduated from Indiana University, having done his MCom in Bangladesh at the university, Dhaka University, and progressed to accomplish his PhD at the Manchester Business School. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to call my friend and mentor, Dr. Mia, to the dais.
Thank you, Mr. Convener, for the eloquent introduction. My dear distinguished panelists here and my colleagues and guests, good evening to every one of you. I think for quite a whole 2 days, we have been doing some sort of finger pointing. Who is responsible? Who should do this? Who should do that? Business should do this, government should do this. I think time has come to start thinking what I should do, what we should do. We must start now rethinking of our responsibilities. That is how I look at it. If we look at this mass of humanity, we are really caught up in a very bad cycle. As one of the lead author of the report on extreme events and climate change of the IPCC, I saw the other end, how the developed countries has created the climate change related this situation. Now, developing countries, particularly India and China, has great aspirations to come up, and other countries also need to develop, and development means further use of resources. That is, again, climate change related problem comes in. So the large mass of humanity is here, is sandwiched. So we need to do something very, very clearly, and we need to do in terms of how we can actually contribute to the process. My thought process in this area is, it is not just trying to tell who shall do what, all of us need to do something. We just cannot think of developmental sustainability as somebody else's issue. It is my issue too. We cannot take life as it is. Okay, it will go on. No. We got to think about these three things. Reduce, reuse, recycle. By reduce, you mean we cannot maintain the lifestyle that we are maintaining now, and unless we reduce consumption, Mother Earth cannot give us the resources to sustain. It's not possible. So we'll have to rethink the lifestyle that we are thinking about. Again, the development style that we will be thinking about will have to come. And that requires a tremendous re-education, awareness building, a huge social marketing campaign for the general masses. No mention has been made about the agriculturists in this region. They do lot of pollutions. They do lot of damage to Mother Earth. We have not mentioned that. Every sector is doing it. So as we are making more and more irresponsible use of resources, we got to bring in responsibility. So a mass awareness campaign in the form of social marketing needs to be mounted, as we have done in 60s, if you remember, in terms of family planning and birth control. Same is the situation now. It's very urgent. It's like a green revolution type of issue that we need to do. Then we need to think that this sustainability issue is not going to go away tomorrow. So long term. So we'll have to bring this education in the curriculum of the primary school, retrain our teachers to think in sustainable way. Otherwise, sustainable development will not come. This is very, very important for us. The decade relating to education for sustainable development is just coming to a close. I was in the UNESCO conference in November in Japan on the global action program that has been accepted for sustainability for the next decade. So for the next decade, we'll have to do it. Now, coming down to the profession that we are involved in, management education, what are we going to do about it? Yes, as far as International University of Business Agriculture is concerned, IUBAT, we are trying to make a grain campus. We are trying our best to recycle, reuse, lot of things. But we are not happy about that particular one. Yes, we introduced a sort of sustainability environmental codes, but that's give to everyone to make them conscious. But I personally feel all our business courses needs to be garnished through the concept of sustainable development, so that these courses, the sustainability is not an exterior issue. It is garnished and internalized, so that these courses embody this sustainability as an issue. And as such, when this young men and women will go become entrepreneurs or become executives, it is in their blood and system that they will think about sustainability as they initiate that action. That is a must that we must do. And for those of our friends who are already in the business and industry, executive development program, other awareness program, business letter, and some of the issues that has been discussed in the last session can also bring tremendous help. But first and foremost, we must rethink how we are going to garnish, how to rewrite the textbook, how to reorient the case studies, how to rework the textual materials and examples and illustrations which will relate to the challenge of sustainable development. And unless we undertake a holistic approach involving everyone, child to youth, everyone in every aspect, whether she is a fisherman or a farmer or a laborer or a manager or a kid going to the high school and college and the university, we cannot really begin to think in a sustainable way, because we must start thinking that we must find out the sustainable way of development and a sustainable way of life to reinforce that development for the sake of us, for the next generation and the coming generation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mia, for a very thought-provoking question, what we should now do, what needs to be done. He used the term reuse, recycle, reduce, retrain teachers, and the need to revamp some of our programs to make it more integrated, inward-looking, to embrace sustainable development. With this, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our dear friend, Dr. Mohammed Latif, who has been coaxed to come to the dais. And I'm sure he's not feeling very happy about it, but I'm sure his smile makes it a day. Dr. Latif is somebody that has been known to me for over 2 decades. When I met him, when he returned from the University of Swansea, University of Cardiff in Mali, and we started work on the decentralization of the Maldives. Dr. Latif, since 2007, has served the Maldives Civil Service Commission, first as a chairman in August 2010, and later reappointed as a commission member. He was again reappointed to his present post as the chairman on 20th August 2013. During his 32 years of work experience, Dr. Latif has served in many esteemed positions, such as the Honorable Minister of Education in the Maldives from 1993 to 2002, member of the Judicial Service Commission, chairman of the Civil Service Commission, and of course the prestigious position of being Maldives ambassador to the United Nations from 2003 to 2007 and a permanent representative with the rank of an ambassador to the UN from 2002 to 2007. He has also been a member of the National Planning Council and also the chairman of the National Commission for UNESCO. I will stop there and I will ask you to kindly look at his biography in the book, which I have very much kindly borrowed from Professor Nanaya Kara. With these further words, let me request Dr. Lateef to kindly come and share with us his thoughts on management of sustainable development in Maldives.
Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Thank you for the little introduction. As Yasin said, it's not the most comfortable thing to be asked to come up to the stage in just 1 minute and to be a panel member. But if I didn't, the Maldives will not be represented here. So it's very important that all the member countries are represented in this panel discussion. Whatever we could share, we will share, and I'll be prepared to take any questions on the subject, any discussions, any thoughts I'm able to share, I will share. You just forgive me for any shortcomings. Okay. Just I would like to share a little bit in 3 main areas. I'm happy that Professor Ali Mullah has indicated the importance of broader awareness and broader education. We could be incorporating sustainability in training our managers. We could do it 100 times, but the basic fundamental issue is the mindset. The mindset and the attitudinal and behavioral changes that are required, be it the manager, be it the consumer, be it the fisherman or anybody else, the farmer. So in the Maldives, as you know, is going to be the first victim of global warming and sea level rise. We are the least contributor into this problem. Probably we don't contribute at all, maybe, but it can't be at all, mathematically speaking, but very, very, very insignificant indeed, our contribution into the global warming and sea level rise. But we are the first to go. So, why are we the first victim? The geography and the construct of the entire topography and the layout of the country is so vulnerable that we can hardly sustain any kind of weather disaster. So, beginning in 1980s, we embarked upon a broader awareness kind of campaign, plus introduction of this awareness in the school curriculum itself. If this is what you wanted, I think that's where we have started actually. Into the school curriculum itself, a subject called environmental studies. I think many school systems do have this subject, but we focused very much on the Maldives environment. And we educated the children as to the vulnerability of the reefs and the importance of the cleanliness and the geography of the Maldives. That is our livelihood, that is our income, that's our economy, and that is our everything, you name it. Like your land, that our sea is our country. When I do speak to the teachers and the professionals, even the principals, I sometimes do tell them, if there is any other God that I would ask Maldivians to worship, other than Allah Almighty, that would be the polyp. Do you all know the polyp? No? Okay. The Maldivians didn't know the polyp when it is so important. It is in the school curriculum we introduced the polyp the first time. The polyp is the little creature that sheds the skeleton and creates the reef, the coral reef. The coral is created by this little creature called the polyp. So this polyp creates the reef. The reef is the basis of the ecosystem of the entire country. The little creatures, the little fish, the bigger fish, the fish thereafter, and all the living, the ecosystem is based on this little polyp. If the polyp dies tomorrow, Maldives entirely dies, because the land itself is also coral. It is something the polyp has given us. You see, the land on which whatever we grow agriculturally, we grow on this polyp, on the back of the polyp. So this environment, so vulnerable, the polyp is so vulnerable, it cannot sustain temperature variation. Of a couple of degrees, I think it can sustain. So if the temperature is to vary, the polyp will die, all the reefs will die, all the life surrounding the reef will die, and the life feeding on the reef, we, the Maldivians, can't survive. So we educated them all. Now, what happens? Now our entire economy is based on this environment and the reef. Our economy is basically tourism and fisheries. As I said, fish is based on the reef. Tourism is based on the reef. When tourism investments are made, there are standards set in the Maldives, very stringent standards. They have to abide with these standards to sustain the environment, to cater for the environment. They are not allowed to harm the reef. They are not allowed to, a number of non-allows. I have not come with the list. So these people have to be very careful. So the managers of the resorts, wherever they get the training, they have to be made aware of this. So the training for the managers in country, outside the Maldives, have to be made aware of this vulnerability and the importance of the Maldives environment. There goes the environmental aspect of management training. Then comes the corporate social responsibility, CSR. Okay, CSR aspect of the management. Now, I have not taken the list of what goes into the management education training in my country, where this corporate social responsibility aspects are incorporated. However, again, in delivery of our investment systems, again, a number of requirements are set that if an investor comes, the investor has to be conscious of the community, what the community requires on the social side, and on the basic essential needs side, that they are encouraged to address. And they make contribution into these needs of the community. For example, if someone is interested in investing into a resort, building a resort in an atoll, the person may be asked to, may be required or may be encouraged to spend on sewerage systems, water systems of the neighboring island surrounding it, even maintaining them, and be conscious of it, and just take care of the welfare of the people around, and so on and so forth. So these aspects, these standards are there in the investment sectors, which I am sure without the managers being educated on this, they would never be able to function fully as managers. So these are the little things I wanted to share with you. Whatever questions that come to me, I will try to address. Thank you for your patience. Thank you very much.